The security guard had my daughter by the wrist like she was a runaway, not a 6-year-old with glitter on her cheeks. Mila's shoes were on the wrong feet. She was crying so hard she couldn't talk. And my sister, my own sister, stood between me and the glass door, calm as a Sunday brunch. "Ma'am, you can't go back there," the receptionist said. I shoved my ID across the counter so hard it skidded. "That little girl is mine." The guard tightened his grip, and Mila flinched. She looked at me like she wasn't sure I was allowed to save her. Kendra didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "She's here for evaluation," she told them, like she was ordering a latte. "She's been having episodes." I turned on her so fast my neck popped. "Don't say that word about my child." Kendra held up a folder. My name was on the label. Signed consent. Your signature. "You authorized intake." My stomach dropped, sharp and cold, because the signature looked like mine, but I hadn't signed a thing. "Mila, baby, come here," I called, trying to keep my voice steady. She started toward me, and then the guard pulled her back. She cried out, a small animal sound, and I felt something in my chest rip open. Kendra leaned closer, soft enough that only I could hear. "If you make a scene, they'll write it down. For the judge." Her smile was sad. "As your sister, I'm begging you, think about what that looks like." I could taste blood where I'd bitten my tongue. "Where did you take her from?" Kendra blinked, like I was slow. "From Mom's. You dropped her off. Remember? You asked us to help." That was the first lie, wrapped in a familiar tone. I hadn't been at our mother's house in weeks. I'd been on my feet at the airport clinic, stitching a baggage handler's hand, covering another double shift because someone quit midweek. Mila had been with my neighbor, Mrs. Lutz, like always. I turned back to the receptionist. "Call your director, now. I want law enforcement here." The receptionist hesitated, eyes darting to Kendra like Kendra had rank. Kendra smiled at her. "We already notified the county liaison. They know. This is a family decision." Family decision. That phrase made my skin crawl. It was the same phrase Kendra used when she helped me close my bank account and open a better one that she could keep an eye on. The same phrase Mom used when she decided Mila didn't need therapy. She needed discipline. Always for our good. Always with paperwork. The guard started leading Mila down the hallway past the wall of brochures that said, "Safe, stable, supported" in pastel letters. Mila twisted and reached for me, her fingers opening and closing in the air. "Mommy." My body moved before my brain did. I vaulted the half gate by the counter, ignoring the receptionist's gasp. A second guard lunged. I ducked under his arm, adrenaline making everything sharp. My hand caught Mila's backpack strap. I yanked her back toward me and dropped to my knees so she could climb into my arms. She slammed into my chest like she'd been holding her breath for hours. "She said you don't want me," Mila sobbed into my scrub top. My knees shook, but I hugged her tighter. No, never. Not for 1 second. The first guard hesitated, unsure what rulebook to use when the patient is clinging to her mother. The receptionist finally found her voice. "Ma'am, if there's a custody dispute." "It's not a dispute," I snapped. "It's a kidnapping with nicer lighting." A woman in a navy blazer hurried out, badge clipped to her lapel. Her face was trained neutral, but her eyes went straight to Mila's tear-slicked cheeks. "I'm Dr. Hargrove," she said. "Let's go to my office." Kendra followed like she owned the building. In the office, Dr. Hargrove laid the folder on the desk, careful, like it might explode. "We can't release a child without verifying legal authority," she said. "Your sister brought documentation." Kendra tapped the page with one manicured nail. "She has a history," she said, nodding toward me. "Unstable relationships, frequent moves, missed school forms. We're stepping in." I laughed once. It sounded wrong in my throat. "My history is working, Kendra." I pointed at Mila's hair, still tangled with yesterday's pigtails. "And my child looks like you dragged her out of bed." Dr. Hargrove glanced down. "Her intake says she's 7. Mila is 6. That tiny mistake hit me like a flare in the dark. Because if the paperwork was sloppy there, it could be sloppy everywhere. I leaned forward. "Check the signature against my ID. Call the number on Mila's school emergency card. Call my employer. Call anyone who isn't my sister. Kendra's calm finally cracked. Just a hairline. She's doing exactly what I warned you about, she said to Dr. Hargrove. Spinning. Accusing. It's why Mila isn't safe. Mila's fingers dug into my shoulder. I don't want to stay, she whispered. I won't let them, I murmured, and kissed the top of her head. Dr. Hargrove held up her hands. Everyone breathe. Miss Reese. My last name is Hart, I said. Another wrong detail. Kendra had used my old married name from a divorce I finished 2 years ago. Why would she do that unless she'd pulled an old form? Dr. Hargrove's gaze sharpened. You said Hart. The consent here says Reese. Kendra's eyes flicked just once to the folder. Paperwork error, she said quickly. She still uses it sometimes. I didn't. Not ever. Dr. Hargrove stood. I'm going to call the county liaison myself. Until then, the child stays with her mother in this room. Kendra's smile returned, smooth as oil. Of course, she said. We're all on the same side. But when Dr. Hargrove stepped out, Kendra turned to me and dropped the mask. You think getting her out of the hallway means you won, she whispered. You have no idea what I filed this morning. What did you do? I asked, voice low so Mila wouldn't hear. Kendra tilted her head. Emergency guardianship. Temporary placement. It's already in motion. She looked at Mila like she was a prize in a raffle. And if you take her and run, it proves my point. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Unknown number. I ignored it. Then it buzzed again. And again. Like it was trying to warn me. Kendra leaned back in the chair, crossing her legs. Pick up, she said sweetly. It's probably the process server. The call went to voicemail. And the message wasn't a voice at all. It was the flat tone you hear when someone records you without telling you. Just leave her with intake, Kendra's voice said, muffled like it was inside a purse. She'll stop fighting once the door locks. A smaller voice, my mother's, answered. Are you sure this makes us look caring? Kendra sighed. Mom, the judge loves concerned grandparents. Just say we tried everything. My hands went numb around the phone. Mila was drawing circles on Dr. Hargrove's notepad, trying to make herself invisible. My sister had planned this with my mother. Not a mistake. Not panic. A script. When Dr. Hargrove came back, her face was tight. The county liaison confirms there's an emergency petition on file, she said. But nothing grants your sister immediate physical custody today. You can take Mila home for now. For now, Kendra echoed behind me, sing-song. I'll see you in court, Lena. I didn't correct her. I didn't waste breath. I carried Mila out like the building might swallow her again if I blinked. Outside, the parking lot was too bright. Mila squinted up at me. Are we in trouble? No, I said, buckling her into my back seat. My hands shook so bad I fumbled the latch twice. We're getting safe. Home wasn't safe. My apartment had a key that Kendra once borrowed and never returned. So I drove straight to Mrs. Lutz's townhouse. When she opened the door and saw Mila's blotchy cheeks, she didn't ask questions. She just pulled us in and locked the deadbolt like she was sealing us from a storm. Mila fell asleep on Mrs. Lutz's couch, curled around her stuffed octopus. The moment her breathing evened out, I opened my laptop and searched the county court portal with trembling fingers. There it was, stamped and real. Petition for emergency guardianship filed 9:12 a.m. My sister's signature sat at the bottom, crisp and confident. She'd attached exhibits, photos, statements, a page titled Incidents, like my life was a police report. One exhibit was a screenshot of a text I'd sent months ago to my mom. I can't make it tonight. Mila has a fever. Please don't guilt her. Kendra highlighted, can't make it, like it proved abandonment. Another exhibit was a school note about Mila missing 2 days. I'd kept her home because she had strep. Kendra labeled it chronic truancy. And then I saw it, the thing that made my stomach turn harder than the crisis center hallway. An old medical power of attorney form from when I'd had a minor surgery. I remembered signing it in Kendra's kitchen because she was good with paperwork. The form gave her temporary authority for medical decisions if I was incapacitated. Temporary? Medical. Not custody. Not placement. But she'd attached it anyway, betting the judge would skim and assume, like she always did. I scrolled down and found the reason under all the fake concern. a paragraph about assets and stability. Mila, it said, was the beneficiary of a family property interest being mismanaged by me. Family property. What property? I dug through my email. Buried under clinic scheduling notices was a message from an attorney's office I'd ignored 2 months ago. Notice to beneficiary estate of Harold Hart. My father. I hadn't spoken to my father in 10 years. He'd cut me off after my divorce like my broken marriage embarrassed him. I assumed he'd die and my mother and Kendra would split everything and never mention it. But the email said otherwise. I opened it. A lakeside cabin deeded into a trust. For the benefit of the minor child, Mila Hart. Not for me. For her. And Kendra listed as trustee. Of course she was. A cold realization settled over me. This wasn't about Mila's episodes. This was about a cabin. About control. About making sure I never touched a thing with my own hands. My phone lit up with a new text from Mom. Please don't make this ugly. Think of Mila. I wanted to throw the phone across the room. Instead, I screenshot everything and emailed it to myself, to Mrs. Lutz's printer, to anyone I could think of. Proof has a way of disappearing in my family. Then the knock came. 3 sharp raps, like someone had the right. Mrs. Lutz peeked through the peephole and went pale. "There's a man with a badge," she whispered. "And your ex." My lungs forgot how to work. Tyler's voice drifted through the door, loud enough for Mila to stir. "Lena, open up. I'm here for my daughter." The deputy held a packet. Tyler held a folder. "We got a welfare check request," the deputy said. "Just need to see the child is okay." Mila sat up on the couch, eyes puffy. Tyler put on a smile like a mask. "Hey, kiddo, Daddy's here." Her hand slid into mine. She didn't move. I opened the door just enough to block the view. "There's no custody order," I told the deputy. "You can look, but she stays." Tyler tapped a paper in his folder. Emergency petition. "My lawyer says it's basically done." Then he lowered his voice. "Don't make me drag you, Lena. People are watching." The deputy shook his head. "No one's dragging anyone today. But there is a hearing Monday morning." Monday, 72 hours. When I closed the door, I did it slow, because slow looks stable on someone else's report. And if you're still here, hit like and subscribe, and stay with me, because the next part is where everything flips. And what I found in Kendra's own files made me realize this wasn't a weekend ambush. It was a long con. I didn't sleep. I sat at Mrs. Lutz's kitchen table with a legal pad and my laptop, listening to Mila breathe on the couch like each exhale was a countdown. At 6:02 a.m., I called the only family law attorney whose name I still remembered from the clinic waiting room gossip. Ray Montoya. A patient once told me, "If your ex ever tries something, call Ray. She hates bullies." Ray answered like she'd been awake for hours. "Tell me fast," she said. So I did. Crisis facility. Forged consent. Trust cabin. Emergency hearing Monday. When I finished, there was a short silence, then a low whistle. "Your sister's bold," Ray said. "And sloppy. Those are my favorite kinds." By noon, Ray was in Mrs. Lutz's living room, suit jacket tossed over a chair, hair clipped back with a pen. She read Kendra's petition and kept making this face like she was tasting something sour. "She used your old married name," Ray muttered. "She listed the child as 7. She attached a medical POA like it's a golden ticket." Ray looked up at me. "Do you still have the voicemail recording?" I played it. Ray's eyes sharpened at Kendra's line. "The judge loves concerned grandparents." "That's not concern," Ray said. "That's strategy." She leaned forward. "We need 2 things before Monday. Proof you didn't authorize intake, and proof she's raiding that trust. How do we get that in 72 hours? I asked. Ray smiled without humor. "We don't. We get enough to stop the bleeding. Then we go for the throat." Step 1 was the facility. Ray sent a preservation letter demanding all intake records, camera footage, and staff notes. Then she told me to go there in person with a calm face and a phone recording everything. So I went back to that pastel building the same day. Mila held tight in my free hand. The receptionist recognized me and stiffened. "Kendra called," she said immediately. She said you might show up and harass staff. Of course she did. I'm not here to harass anyone, I said, and my voice sounded weirdly polite. I'm here to request a copy of my daughter's admission packet. The receptionist started the script about privacy and legal holds. Ray's card slid across the counter like a chess move. My counsel will be in contact, I said. In the hallway, I noticed something I missed the first time. A security camera, angled right over the intake door. If it worked, it saw everything. Back in the car, Mila asked, "Are we going to school?" I swallowed. "Not today," I said. "We're doing grown-up stuff." She frowned. "I hate grown-up stuff." "Me too," I told her, and she actually smiled for half a second. That half second is what kept me from falling apart. Step 2 was the trust. Ray sent me to the bank listed on the estate notice. When I walked in, the teller asked for the trustee. "Kendra Hart," she said. Like that name meant something important. "I'm the child's mother," I said. "I need to know what's been happening with her account." The bank manager's smile froze. "We can't disclose trust activity without trustee authorization," she said. Ray had warned me. "So I won't ask for trust activity," I said, heart thumping. "I'll ask for my own information. I'm listed as the child's guardian in school and medical records. I need to confirm if there are any liens or holds attached to my daughter's name." That made her blink. She disappeared into an office and returned with a thin printout. It wasn't a statement, it was a notice. "An application was submitted to transfer trustee authority," the manager said carefully. "Pending court review." "Transfer authority to who?" I leaned closer. The applicant's name was Tyler Reese. My stomach went hollow. Kendra wasn't just trustee. She was building a bridge straight to the one person who'd happily yank Mila away just to prove he could. When I got back to Mrs. Lutz's, Ray was on speakerphone with someone from the facility. Her finger lifted when she saw my face. "Hold on," she told the person. Then to me. "What happened?" I handed her the bank notice. Ray's mouth tightened. "Okay," she said, slow. "Okay, that's big." Mila colored at the coffee table, humming to herself, unaware that adults were trading her future like a contract. Ray lowered her voice. "Listen to me. Your sister is trying to make Tyler look like the stable parent so he can take control of the trust. That's motive. Judges like motive." My throat burned. "All I did was try to keep my kid happy," I whispered. Ray's eyes didn't soften, but her voice did. "Then keep doing that, and let me do the ugly part." That night, an email finally came from the facility. Not the footage, just a note from their legal department. They claimed all documentation was properly executed and said they'd cooperate with authorities. Cooperate. Like I was the criminal. Then another email hit my inbox. This one wasn't from the facility. It was from Kendra. Subject line: "For Mila's sake." Attached was a photo. Mila at my mother's house last month, smiling over a cupcake. And behind her, in the background, a man I hadn't seen in 2 years. Tyler sitting at my mother's table like he belonged there. Ray read it and swore under her breath. "She's been coordinating with him," Ray said. "For a while." My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. This time I answered. A man's voice, smooth and official. "Miss Hart," he said. "This is Jordan Pike with Child Protective Services. We need to schedule an interview regarding allegations in an emergency filing." My skin went cold. "Allegations of what?" I asked. There was a pause, like he was choosing words that wouldn't get him sued. "Neglect," he said. "And psychological instability." Mila looked up from her coloring book, eyes wide. I forced a smile at her and mouthed, "It's okay." But when I turned back to the phone, my voice came out as a whisper. "When?" "Tomorrow morning," he said. "And Miss Hart, please understand. If you refuse, it may be considered non-cooperation." Tomorrow morning, the day before court, Ray met my eyes. And in her expression, I saw the truth. My sister didn't need to win in court if she could make me crack before we got there. I hung up, and my phone immediately pinged with a new notification. A calendar invite from Tyler. Location: Family Services Building. Title: Mila Placement Meeting. The Family Services lobby smelled like bleach and burnt coffee. Mila's sneakers squeaked on the tile, and she flinched every time, like the sound was getting reported somewhere. Tyler was already there, arms folded, acting like he was early for a meeting, not late for 5 years of being a dad. Kendra sat 2 seats away, scrolling her phone like she hadn't tried to lock my child behind a glass door yesterday. A caseworker called us in. Jordan Pike clipboard. Tired eyes. Calm voice that sounded like he'd said the same sentences all day. He asked Mila if she felt safe. Mila stared at the carpet and twisted her backpack strap until it creaked. Tyler leaned forward and answered for her. "She's anxious," he said. "She gets that from Lena." I kept my face still. "I'd like Mila to answer," I told Jordan, and I hated that I had to ask permission to let my own child speak. Kendra put on her soft, concerned voice. "No one's attacking Lena," she said. "We're trying to help Mila. She needs stability. Therapists. A home that isn't constantly..." "Constantly what?" I snapped, then forced myself to unclench my jaw. "I'm sorry," I said quickly, eyes on Jordan. "I'm not here to yell. I'm here because my sister used forged paperwork to place Mila in a crisis facility." Jordan's pen paused. "Kendra," he said. "Careful. Is that true?" Kendra looked wounded. "That's a serious allegation," she whispered. "She's spiraling. This is what we meant." I slid my phone across the table. "Then listen," I said. I played the recording. Kendra's muffled voice. "Just leave her with intake. She'll stop fighting once the door locks." "My mother." "Are you sure this makes us look caring?" "Kendra, the judge loves concerned grandparents." Silence. Even Tyler stopped fidgeting. Jordan clicked the audio off. His eyes stayed on Kendra longer than before. "I'm forwarding this to legal," he said, "and I'm documenting that you attempted placement without the mother's verified consent." Kendra recovered fast. "It's edited," she said. "You can't take random recordings as fact." "Then pull the facility's camera footage," I said. "Because that camera is pointed right at intake." Tyler cleared his throat, trying to steer the room back to him. "Look, whatever Kendra did, the point is, Mila needs a stable parent," he said. "I have a house, a yard. I can take her while Lena gets herself together." Jordan looked at me. "Do you have stable housing right now?" My cheeks heated. "Temporarily, I'm staying with a neighbor," I said. "My apartment key situation isn't safe." I didn't add that Kendra had borrowed my spare key months ago and never returned it. I could already see how that would be twisted. Jordan nodded once, writing, "There will be a guardian ad litem interview before Monday," he said. "Mila will be asked what she wants." Mila's head snapped up. "No," she whispered. "I don't want to talk to strangers." I pulled her onto my lap and kissed her forehead. "You won't be alone," I murmured, trying to believe it myself. While Jordan printed a page for me to sign, I noticed something small and wrong. Mila's wrist was bare. She always wore a thin purple bracelet with a tiny silver star. It wasn't expensive, but she treated it like armor. She called it her brave bracelet. "Where is it?" I whispered. Mila's eyes flicked toward Kendra and then dropped. "Grandma took it," she said. "She said I didn't earn it." My throat tightened, because the bracelet wasn't just a bracelet. It was attached to a little kid's smartwatch chip, but it could record audio if Mila held the button. Mrs. Lutz insisted after a local missing kid alert. I'd left it on because it made Mila feel safe, and my mother had removed it right before court. I kept my face neutral. I didn't give Kendra the satisfaction of seeing me connect the dots. That night, after Mila fell asleep, I drove to my mother's house. No text, no warning, just me, my shaking hands, and the dead certainty that polite had gotten my child dragged down a hallway. Mom opened the door in a robe, eyes wide like she was performing surprise. "Oh, Lena," she said. "This isn't a good time." "I'm here for Mila's bracelet," I said, stepping inside. Mom's mouth tightened. "We're discussing what's best for Mila," she started. "Kendra," I called out, loud. "Bring it down." Footsteps upstairs. Kendra appeared at the top of the stairs, calm again. "You're trespassing," she said. "And you stole from a child." I shot back. Kendra lifted the bracelet between 2 fingers. "I'm holding it for safekeeping," she said. "Mila shouldn't have unsupervised devices. It feeds paranoia." "Hand it over," I said. And I hit record on my phone right in front of them. Kendra paused just a beat too long. Then she tossed it to me like it was nothing. I caught it. The tiny screen flashed to life. A red dot. A saved audio file from yesterday. I didn't play it in their house. I walked out with my shoulders straight, like I didn't feel like vomiting. In my car, I hit play. Kendra's voice came through, clear. Once she's with Tyler, the cabin stays in the family. Lena will sign whatever we put in front of her. Then my mother laughed. Finally, she said. You're fixing what she ruined. The streetlights blurred because my eyes filled. Not with sadness, with fury. Because now, I had proof. And now they were going to realize I had it. Before Monday morning ever arrived, I drove back to Mrs. Lutz's and woke Ray with a call. When she answered, I didn't explain. I just held the phone up and let her hear the file. When it ended, Ray went quiet. Then, don't send that to anyone yet, she said. We use it in court. We keep custody of the original. I stared at Mila asleep on the couch, her cheeks smashed into a pillow. My family had never played fair. Ray kept talking. Fast now. Lock your doors. Don't be alone at the courthouse. And if anyone tries to take Mila again, you call 911, not me. I promised. Then my phone lit up with a message from Kendra. A photo. My apartment door splintered around the lock like someone had tried to force it. Caption. Drop the recording, or you'll lose her for good. And in that moment, I understood Monday wasn't the deadline. It was just the show. The real fight had already started. Monday morning, the courthouse metal detector beeped at my belt buckle, and my heart did the same. Mila squeezed my hand like she could anchor me to the floor. Ray walked beside us with a folder under her arm, calm in a way I couldn't fake. Kendra and my mother sat together in soft colors, sad faces, ready. Tyler sat behind them, jaw tight, acting like he was the stable option instead of the man who'd vanished when diapers got expensive. The judge came in. No small talk. She started with Kendra's emergency petition. Kendra stood and spoke like she was reading a bedtime story. Lena is overwhelmed, she said. No fixed housing. Erratic hours. Mila has been exposed to emotional volatility. We attempted a compassionate placement. Ray rose before Kendra could finish. Your Honor, we have evidence this petition is a pretext, she said, and that a crisis facility placement was initiated with forged consent. The opposing attorney tried to smile it off. Allegations, he said. No proof. Ray tapped my phone. Exhibit A. The courtroom filled with Kendra's muffled voice. Just leave her with intake. She'll stop fighting once the door locks. My mother. Are you sure this makes us look caring? Kendra. The judge loves concerned grandparents. Kendra's attorney jumped up. Objection unauthenticated. Ray didn't blink. We have original file metadata, the device, and witness testimony for chain of custody. Then she added, and we have Exhibit B, captured on the child's safety watch, that was removed from her wrist. That got the judge's full attention. The second recording played. Kendra's voice, clear. Once she's with Tyler, the cabin stays in the family. Lena will sign whatever we put in front of her. The judge looked at Kendra. Kendra Hart, she said, voice flat. Kendra tried to cry. It's edited, she whispered. She's manipulating. The judge didn't move. Why is a cabin trust being discussed in a child safety petition? She asked. Ray slid a bank notice forward. Because they attempted to transfer trustee authority to Tyler Reese pending court review, she said. The timing aligns with the crisis placement. Tyler half stood. That's not... Sit, the judge said, without raising her voice. The other side tried one last hit. They offered a partial police record, implying I'd been arrested for DUI. My throat tightened. It was a dropped charge from exhaustion, not alcohol, and they knew it. Ray slapped the dismissal on the table. 0 breath test, she said. Charge dropped. They're presenting it to smear her. The judge read, set it down, and stared at Kendra's attorney. Misleading the court is a serious matter, she said. Then she ruled. The emergency petition was denied. Mila stayed with me. Tyler's visitation would be supervised pending further review. Kendra was removed as trustee pending investigation, and a forensic accounting was ordered. My mother and Kendra were barred from contact with Mila outside court-approved channels. My knees nearly gave out. Mila didn't cheer. She just leaned into my side like she'd been holding her breath since yesterday. In the hallway, a deputy approached Kendra. "Miss Hart," he said, "we need you to come with us regarding a complaint of document forgery and attempted financial exploitation of a minor." Kendra's face emptied. Mom grabbed her arm and hissed, "Say something." Kendra couldn't. Ray touched my elbow. "Go," she murmured. "Get Mila outside." So I did. Sunlight hit Mila's face, and she squinted like she was waking up from a bad dream. "Are we done?" she asked. "For today," I said. Yes. Over the next 2 weeks, the story my family tried to sell fell apart. The facility produced footage showing Kendra pushing Mila toward intake while Mila tried to pull away. The accountant found fees paid from the trust to an account tied to Kendra's household. The court froze everything and appointed a neutral trustee. The cabin was ordered sold, and the money was locked for Mila college, medical, whatever she needs, no one else. We moved into a small duplex with new locks. Mila painted her room loud teal and taped drawings to the wall without asking anybody's permission. Her brave bracelet is back on her wrist, and she knows that little button isn't magic, it's evidence. And before the very end of this, do me a favor, comment and share. I want to know what you'd do if family used the words "for the child" as a cover to grab money and control. Do you cut them off forever? Or do you leave a door open because they share your blood? Last night, Mila asked if Aunt Kendra still loved her. I told her the cleanest truth I could. "Some grown-ups love like grabbing," I said. "And we don't keep grabby people close." Mila thought about it, then nodded. "Okay," she said. "Can we make pancakes tomorrow?" "Yeah," I said, kissing her forehead. "We can." I turned off the light. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. Just 4 words. "You can't stop family." I stared at the screen until it dimmed. Then I checked the number. Blocked caller ID. Mrs. Lutz helped me install a door camera in the duplex. I opened the app, expecting nothing. And there, under the porch light, was my mother. She wasn't pounding or yelling. She was holding a paper grocery bag like she'd brought cookies. My stomach flipped. The protection order said no contact. But my mother loved loopholes. I watched her set the bag down, then look straight at the camera. She raised 2 fingers in a tiny wave. Then she slid a folded note under the door. I didn't open it. I didn't touch it. I called 911, with my voice steady on purpose. When the dispatcher asked if I felt safe, I looked at Mila's door closed, quiet, my child asleep inside, and answered. "I will be," I said. "But not if you let her keep testing the line." By the time a cruiser rolled through, my mother was gone. The grocery bag sat on my mat like bait. In the morning, I used gloves to pick up the note and dropped it into a plastic bag for Ray. 4 words, in my mother's neat handwriting. "She belongs with us." And that's when I realized something worse than the cabin, worse than court, worse than Kendra's spreadsheets. They didn't think they lost. They thought this was just halftime.